following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. And welcome into a Friday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. On the show today, our weekly visit with Jeff Him of the Nashville Sounds as they continue their series with Memphis. We'll hear from him and get set for the weekend ahead at First Horizon Park. Also, Colton Provey with Baseball Scouting Report, Tennessee director, and who's up and coming and might be going in the draft. Yep, it's around the corner. So we'll get a little preview of the rising stars from the state of Tennessee with Colton around 3 o'clock. As always, our daily Braves chatter, plus a look ahead to the weekend and a look ahead to next week. Main Street Sports Today going on a road trip. We'll tell you all about it, so stay tuned as we kick off this Friday edition of Main Street Sports Today. Now, to the Hall of Famer and Sundrop Kid from Alabama, that would be Mo and Chris. Gentlemen, happy Friday.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are things down in the Berg?
They are hot. I got a haircut ready for next week. I feel like I'm 3 pounds lighter.
Understandable.
That was a big old mop on the top of my head.
Yeah, I hear you. Same thing.
Well, so you got your haircut.
Yeah, we're waiting
He
on
got
you.
his haircut. 9:40 tomorrow morning.
9:40 tomorrow-ish. Is that going to be kind of like wrestling?
No, this will be closer to on time than most wrestling events. Yes. My guy's pretty good about that.
All right.
So yeah, I feel pretty confident that 9:40. It'll be right around.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a good deal.
Yep.
So we were just waiting on you, but
yeah,
no more waiting after tomorrow morning. So
there we
that's
go.
Good to go. We'll all have fresh
for the road trip.
Have fresh cuts and good to go.
Oh man,
we'll have to.
I guess we'll be capless in Atlanta to show off our fresh.
We might need
right?
to be.
I mean, can't cover all this up. You know.
No.
Yeah.
I pulled out the it's a new shirt that I got here, new little pullover, and it's pretty solid. I like it.
It's pretty solid, but it's multi-layers in the middle of July. I mean,
I would rather have, if I'm gonna have a sweaty back, I'd rather have a second layer to cover up this the first layer. So I guess that's kind of where I was going with it. But also, I was gifted today when I went out to Spring Hill for a skateboarding event, like a little frog towel type thing. So yeah, pretty solid.
there you go.
I didn't even need layers.
swag.
Didn't matter.
Swag is always good.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, got a lot going on, and we're going to get into SEC Media Days, the invitees, and we will preview what we're going to be doing down there and all of that sort of thing, and so much more. I want to start today, though, Mo. You were out at Cumberland, as you told Ron Pavin yesterday.
Actually made it.
You made it, and the TSWA inducted some new Hall of Famers, including one, Mr. McGee.
Mark McGee, longtime Nashville Banner writer, also wrote for the Shelbyville Times Gazette and did some athletic media relations at Lipscomb University, his alma mater. So Mark McGee was inducted last night. Dan Flesser, longtime Knoxville News Sentinel writer, covered primarily UT women's basketball, which that's a pretty sweet beat. I was fortunate enough to be on it for couple of years myself, but and then Chris Dortch, formerly of the Chattanooga Times, among other publications here in Tennessee, but probably rose to fame. Most people know him now as the publisher of Blue Ribbon College Basketball Yearbook.
Okay, yeah,
exactly. So those were our three Tennessee Sports Writers Association 2022 Hall of Fame inductees last night. Went really well. You may have seen on Twitter, our TSWA 21-22 men's basketball coach of the year, Rick Barnes from UT, spoke briefly at the dinner and was surprisingly kind in his remarks regarding sports writers and the sports writing profession. So
He's
kudos
not always that way.
yeah, kudos to Coach Barnes. No,
He read the room.
I was about to say, read the room.
no, I really do think that it was genuine though. I mean, he gave us some anecdotes of some situations he had been in with different folks throughout his lengthy basketball coaching career and that kind of thing, and just spoke of the respect that he has for the profession. And it was really nice to hear. Now, maybe he was reading the room, but it sounded pretty genuine to me.
Well, that's all you can do is,
So,
come off as genuine no
Yeah.
matter what.
well,
If you do,
how do you doubt the deacon?
it's hard. It's
So there
hard.
you go.
Yeah, he's pretty solid guy. So
Good night.
congrats.
It was a good night, other than driving from Columbia to Lebanon and from
Lebanon back to Franklin.
Exactly.
I'm sure that wasn't fun. JP, I apologize, but the rundown is
I got
just
something we can go with.
let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's give it to you.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
All right, we'll start in Major League Baseball. Yesterday, it was the Braves 5-4 winners over the Nationals. That's a good start to a 4-game series. Yesterday, also in 10 innings, the Reds over the Yankees. And also on Thursday, it was the Dodgers shutting out the Cardinals 4-0. The Mets over the Cubs 8-0. Come on, Cubbies, where were you a couple of months ago?
You're right.
And that will do it
The
from
Brewers.
yesterday. The Brewers, oh, that's right.
3-2 over
Brewers,
San
3-2
Francisco.
over the Giants. There you go. So looking ahead to today's schedule. As I flip the script, the Braves, of course, the Nationals tonight on Valley Sports South. Yankees and the Red Sox, they start a weekend series. I know we do have some Yankees and Red Sox fans around.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
They're a national brand.
Yep, the Dodgers and the Angels in the battle of the Angel City, or the City of Angels. The Reds and the Cardinals start a weekend series tonight as well. The Brewers are still out in San Francisco, and the Mets postponed from today, I guess, and looks
Already?
like they will make up for tomorrow. Yes, make up on July 16th. So
That's
the
tomorrow.
day game today postponed until tomorrow. So chance to gain a half game tonight. Anything else happening this weekend that you have your eyes on?
There's not a whole lot going on at all. I will tell you, though, that we do have a couple of things on TV tonight. We've got soccer. Of course, the Nashville is not playing, and nor is the United States, but that is happening. Of course, the British Open, if you're
right.
up in the morning to take care of that, or just watch a replay or something and don't get on Twitter. I don't know. And the Tour de France continues today on USA right now. So there you go. That's what's on TV today. Now
We're kind of getting into that void.
yeah, because the next week will be pretty well nothing. You can catch
Nothing.
track and field world championships tomorrow. The U.S. does not play any more soccer this weekend that I'm aware of.
Did they pick up the win over Costa Rica last night? Did you notice that?
I don't know. Nashville SC is at home against Los Angeles on Sunday.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
women.
7:30 kick.
Yeah, the women last night 3-0 shutting out Costa Rica in the
There you go.
semifinal of the CONCACAF
Which means they will
Women's
continue.
Championship. So they are on to the CONCACAF Championship.
That's correct. There you go.
And that will be
Who did they play?
Monday. That'll be Monday at 9 Eastern against Canada.
It's at 9 p.m.
9
Eastern?
p.m. Excuse me, that actually is a Central Time. I've got
9
a
p.m.
smart
Central.
computer that it actually adjusts. How about that? Who knows?
And
You
it's a
never can tell these
rematch.
days.
There you go.
It's a rematch of the Olympic semifinal from last year.
There you go.
Should be fun.
USA.
Women-
USA.
Women's national team needs to get a dub.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, though. That's all for the sports on TV this weekend. And then, of course, you've got the Nashville Sounds all weekend. So
That's right.
Against visiting Memphis.
Memphis.
Looking to
Trying
claim
to
a
salvage.
sweep. Yeah, trying to salvage a split of this series after struggling through this first 3 games. We're going to speak in the next segment with the voice of the Nashville Sounds, Jeff Hem, and we'll try not to talk too much about last night's result.
there you go.
All right. Unless you have anything else,
That's it.
That will do it for this Friday Rundown brought to you by ChooseChip.net.
Yep. So let's do that. Let's take a break and bring Jeff Hem on with us as soon as we get back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. So stick around with us. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Don't forget, coming up later today on the program, Colton Provey, baseball scout for Tennessee, and we'll talk about who's coming up from the prep ranks and more, so stay tuned for that. Also, we've got a look ahead to the weekend on this Friday edition. So plenty to get to here on Main Street Sports today, but in the meantime, we'll send you back over to the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and Sun-Turf Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
What's going on? Hope you guys are having a great Friday. I know it has been a rough week to some degree, but also we are on the tail end and we are getting ready for our trip to Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Apparently our tour of the College Football Hall of Fame that we have apparently procured via Twitter.
That was pretty clutch.
They said, let us help. And I said, sure.
Well, hey,
We have a tour.
Don't offer if you don't mean it.
it would be pretty rude of us to turn down help.
I mean, right. So don't say it if you don't mean it.
That's it.
College Football Hall of Fame. So yeah, we'll be touring the Hall of Fame. We'll take you guys with us on social media. So make sure to follow us at ms_sports today and on Instagram and Facebook at MS Sports Today. So it's going to be a lot of fun next week. Looking forward to it. Now we look forward to this weekend with the Nashville Sounds, who continue their series against the Memphis Redbirds, as we are joined by the voice of the Sounds, Jeff Him. And it's after starting the month 8-0. They're on a 4-game skid since then, and so things are not looking great. What do the Sounds have to do to stop this skid, Jeff?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down, and hello guys, and happy Friday, and thank you as always for having me on. For one thing, I don't think they really have to overhaul their game. I mean, you play 150 games, you're going to have winning streaks, you're going to have losing streaks. I know that's easy to say when you have a losing streak, but this team won 8 in a row before they lost 4 in a row. So to say that there's some massive problem going on, I think it's wrong. The Redbirds have a good offense. They've got a pretty good pitching staff. They've been a good team all year. The Sounds have been a really good team all year. And, it typically starts with starting pitching. Last week, when the Sounds were in Columbus, which is a really hitter-friendly environment, and the Clippers have been good all year. I mean, you're talking the Sounds, Memphis, and Columbus in the standings. Those have been your top 3 all year. Columbus is a good team. The Sounds outplayed them in every facet of the game. And they won 5 of the 6 games, and you wouldn't have really thought it was a hitter-friendly ballpark if you'd watched the Columbus offense, because the Sounds just pitched better than they did. And last night, Josh Lindblom, who's in the top 10 in the league in ERA, had an off night. Redbirds hit a couple of home runs, and when they hit them, there were men on base, and it got out of hand early. Those are going to happen. The Sounds have had 2 blowout losses now this year, and they've got the best record in AAA. So, you guys know baseball well enough to know it's going to happen. Whoever wins the World Series this year, I guarantee you can look back at their record. They probably will have been absolutely blown out about 4 or 5 times. So I don't think the team is that worried about it. I think there's still plenty of good players on this team. They are a little thin on the position player front as far as who can kind of rotate here and there. And we saw Bryce Terang get a night off last night. First time since the middle of June, the Sounds played a game that Terang had off, and he's young, and I'm not saying that he was like begging for a day off. I just know Rick Sweet likes to get everybody a day here and there, and he kind of couldn't for a while with Terang just because of the other personnel. There hasn't always been a true shortstop to back up Bryce at times. So good example there. He had the night off last night. You're a little bit thin. You're trying to navigate that. And then it's also just the nature of a good team and a long baseball schedule. That's what I've chalked it up to.
Jeff, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly how I characterized it to Jody last night when we were watching the 10 o'clock news and that score flashed up. Everybody's going to have a clunker over the course of 162, 144, whatever it is that you're playing. And this was just one of those. As you said, the Nashville Sounds 52-34. Going into today's play, 3.5 games clear of both Columbus and Memphis. And again, the best record in the International League. So, they've been playing some pretty good ball, and that's the way it works in this game sometimes, to just echo what you just said. So I don't think there's the sky is falling, certainly not with Rick Sweet as much as he's seen over his career. So just go back at him again tonight.
That's one of the things I love the most about baseball. It's what sets it apart, I think, from other sports. Now, can a Super Bowl winning team have gotten beat 42-0 in week 4? Yeah, that can happen. But if that happened, they had to wait 6 days to get back out there. I don't think the Sounds were losing that much sleep last night. I was saying it on the air when Josh Lindblom was having the outing he was having. He's 35 years old. He's been in the big leagues. He's won the Cy Young Award, the equivalent of it, in Korea twice from his time over there. He's been released. He's been designated. He's been traded. He's been signed. Everything that's happened to him in the game that could happen to a guy in the game has happened to Josh Lindblom. I'm not saying, and I said it last night, I'm not saying he was enjoying his outing last night or internally wasn't feeling some rage, but I know Josh pretty well. I don't think he lost too much sleep last night. He's got that kind of mind of like, okay, well, I'm going to start looking at my next outing. And you know, if you're a position player, you don't have time to dwell on a loss, just like these guys really, once they get past the high five line after a win and they go up to the clubhouse and leave, they're not out celebrating all night from a regular season victory. They're getting rested and ready to go for the next day. So I think that's part of what makes baseball so great. Whether you're doing really well or really poorly, chances are there's a game the very next day. And if you dwell too long or celebrate too long, you're probably going to pay for it the next day or the day after. And these guys are professional athletes. I really don't see them too stressed about last night's loss.
Rarely argue as good as your best game or as bad as your worst game, particularly in this sport. So, again, they'll go back at it tonight with Marcus Walden, who shares a name with a good childhood friend of mine, actually, but it's not the same guy. No record, 11.74 ERA for the Sounds, making his second start, third appearance, 7 2/3 innings, 9 strikeouts for Walden to this point with the Sounds, going against TBD for the Redbirds. That guy's always pretty good.
I think it's oh gosh, now all of a sudden right-hander Tommy Parsons is going for the Redbirds. Both teams had to reconfigure a little bit in the rotation, so Parsons is going for the Redbirds. And on Tuesday, we saw Steven Matz on rehab for the Redbirds, Nashville resident, and I think the Cardinals are hopeful that he can pitch for them on Sunday and not again on rehab for the Redbirds. So I don't know if it's going to be Matthew Liberatore, who just got optioned by St. Louis, and he's one of their top young pitchers. I mean, that's the thing. We talk about, you know, what's happened in this series. The Redbirds, you can copy and paste it year to year. The Cardinals know what they're doing with pitching. They're not the only ones. The Brewers have a boatload of good young pitching too. But chances are when you look at the Memphis Redbirds, you're going to find some hard throwers. You're going to find some good pitchers. And you're going to find some guys who have really impressive stuff that you've kind of never heard of. And then in a couple of years, you're going to be like, yeah, that guy came through Memphis too. And he's probably pitching at Busch Stadium. I mean, 90% of that Cardinals roster, you know, outside of Goldschmidt and Arenado, probably we saw as a Redbird last year, the year before, or the year before that. That's just what the Cardinals do. And this Redbird staff has a couple of those. They had a guy on Tuesday night who closed out the game for them, named Freddie Pacheco, and I'm not trying to disrespect Freddie. I just had never heard of him. He had recently come up from AA. He's not a super big guy. He was throwing 99 miles an hour, and I want to say he struck out the side in order in the ninth inning, and the Redbirds beat the Sounds. And it's like, of course, the Cardinals have a guy like Freddie Pacheco. That's just what they do. They grow arms on trees, and so it's impressive, their staff, and that's certainly part of the equation of what the Sounds have had to deal with in this series.
Speaking with the voice of the Nashville Sounds, Jeff Hem, here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. As the Sounds try to, again, salvage a split of this 6-game series, having dropped the first 3 games to Memphis. Could be a lot worse, Jeff. Could be the Omaha Storm Chasers, who are watching, feels like half of their roster north of the border.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, I know we typically talk AAA ball and Sounds, but I mean, the Major League postseason races are getting very interesting. And this is usually the time of year that I start to really look at the wild card standings. There's really not much point in doing that in April, May, and June, in my opinion. And, you know, the entire AL East is in the mix, even the Orioles, and it gets very interesting if there's a postseason game hosted by the Toronto Blue Jays somewhere down the line. You know, that will have storylines in various ways of who's available, and that's just part of the postseason playoff map if we were to end the season today.
Yeah, it's not just the postseason though, Jeff. I mean, again, Kansas City had what, 10 guys that they put on the restricted list? Philadelphia had.
Oh yeah,
5 that they put on it. I mean, the teams are virtually throwing games, to host Toronto, and I don't. Clearly, there's nothing you can do about it. But
and Toronto is just like, hey, let's fire a manager in the middle of all this,
right?
Seems like a good enough time.
Yeah, as good a time as any. But I mean, it's just an odd, I don't know, dynamic, for lack of a better word. What's going on with teams when they go to Toronto, and I don't know why we hadn't heard anything more about it before this last few days.
I remember it being a tough test. I mean, I know part of the year they weren't even in Toronto, but once they were about it because of other teams that have gone there earlier this year and following some storylines out of those particular series. I guess maybe it depends on, what team is going there, or like you said, it's half the Royals roster. It's the quantity maybe makes it the bigger story. Some teams have probably gone there and only been without 2 or 3 players. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think dynamic is the right word. It's just, it's part of if you're going to play the Blue Jays, and there are ways teams can and players can deal with it, but they're choosing their path, and so that's just part of it right now. I don't know how else it gets resolved other than one of 2 ways: Canada drops that policy, or players change their minds with the vaccinations.
Who knows? You guys have seen a couple of rehab starts, or rehab stints this week, and that probably continues this weekend. So it's going to be a lot of folks trying to get healthy for the Redbirds, and we'll get fireworks tonight, I guess. All right. Yeah. Looks like we'll get fireworks tonight on Fox 17 News Friday. Fireworks. It's my favorite thing. But tomorrow, may the force be with you. Star Wars night, Jeff. Are you dressing up?
Yeah, we've got a light. I am not dressing up. The team is going to wear Star Wars themed jerseys that will be part of an auction to benefit a nonprofit cause. And that auction will be going on through next week, and fans can get that info on our social channels. No, I will not be dressing up. I'm not a big, can I say this out loud? I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I'm just not. There were other movies as a kid. I grabbed my brother, who's a little bit older than I am, was a big Star Wars guy. I was more Batman, Superman growing up, and he was all about the Star Wars. And so I've just never been a big thing of mine, but I know plenty of people who are, because I know we are very short on tickets for tomorrow night. If anyone is listening and thinking, Saturday at the Sounds, that sounds good, you might be standing or trying to get a small patch of grass on the berm. I would not wait. I would get your tickets ASAP, and for tonight too, for that matter. But tomorrow especially is looking quite packed, which is wonderful. But if you are thinking, I'll just get them tomorrow when I walk up, just know that you may be out of luck, or you may be standing.
7:05 tonight, and tomorrow night 1:05 the Sunday finale. And then with the All-Star break, schedule gets a little odd for the Sounds. They go to Louisville for 3 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then resume their 6-game series schedule on July 26th at home as Charlotte comes to town. Jeff Hem, voice of the Nashville Sounds, with us on Main Street Sports today. Jeff, really appreciate you as always, and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds great, guys. See you soon.
All right.
If it makes Jeff feel any better, I've never seen Star Wars.
I'm sure that will make him feel better. You probably should have said it while we had him.
I would have, but you took my
bad. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I just heard the music.
Yeah, the music is. Thanks, JP. We got to get out of here.
Absolutely.
When JP's not in the building, we have to. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, music. Got to go.
I'm listening. See you.
We're trying. Let's take a break. Got a couple of things to talk about. SEC Media Days. Pretty cool story from Main Street Preps that we should probably mention. And maybe some other things. But we'll get into it. A lot to get into on this Friday for some crazy reason. Just all kinds of things going on. So we'll do that right after this on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
A reminder that we're taking the show on the road next week to Hotlanta for the SEC Media Days. Be sure and join us 2 to 4, an extra half hour of programming from Hotlanta as we'll lead right into the George Plaster Show. So double the dip of Main Street and Media TV from Atlanta, gentlemen. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're working on your the dining situation. Mo has a place or two that I think he has stated we have to hit. And just finding out earlier today, Chris, you mentioned about the tour of the College Football Hall of Fame.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I knew we were going to get to go there, but I didn't realize we were actually going to get a guided tour.
Well, we didn't either until last night.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just posted that, a reminder. We're going to be in Atlanta, and they responded to.
Well, you tagged them in the tweet. If we had tagged them earlier, we probably would have gotten the invite earlier.
Probably.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
nice little social media interaction there. I'm
certainly interested to see if they have corrected the mistakes in their HBCU exhibit.
Uh-oh.
If not, at least I'll have someone to talk to directly.
There you go.
So there's that.
That'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm sure they'll want to know all about their mistakes.
Well, I tried to tweeted them about them before, but I don't. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah.
Maybe it did not. I do not know.
We'll find out this week, huh?
They had the Turkey Day Classic as like Alabama State and somebody that wasn't Tuskegee. Oh. And I was like, oh, that's not right.
No.
So yeah, it's
okay.
I think it was Miles they had them against, and I was like, I don't think that's accurate.
Close,
Hey.
but no.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, we will be down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Couple of things I wanted to mention. One, there is you sent this link earlier, and I hadn't read it yet, but apparently your alma mater getting a little Super Bowl quarterback love as in the volunteer ranks.
Yeah. Former New York Giants quarterback, also former Tennessee Titans quarterback, Kerry Collins, serving as a volunteer coach with the Franklin Admirals on second-year coach Alex Melton's staff. Tyler Palmatier with an article on mainstreetpreps.com on that development. And, I would think anytime you can bring somebody in with the background of a Kerry Collins at the high school level, that's a good thing. One of the top all-time passing yardage leaders in NFL history, college football Hall of Famer from his career at Penn State, brings a lot of knowledge. Got to be an asset to any coaching staff, I would think. And unfortunately, given the Admirals' performance last year, they could use the help.
Yeah, absolutely. So kudos to Alex Melton grabbing a pretty big name there. So that'll help. And congrats to your CCCHS Cougars on their Riverdale 7-on-7 win.
That's a big win for them. I mean,
Over
this
Franklin County, by the way, as we all predicted.
as everybody predicted.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think while some of us maybe scoff a little bit at the concept of 7-on-7, I think that there's a lot you can get out of it. And one of the things that I think you can get out of it is having success
Confidence.
when you've not had a lot of success. Centennial went 6-4 last year, missed the playoffs because they're in that ultra tough Region 7-6A with Summit, Ravenwood, Brentwood, Indy, and the aforementioned Admirals. So, anytime you can have some success, it speaks to your confidence. And I'm sure that this is something that Matt Kreisky is really excited about, that tempering it with
As
the
he
fact
should
that
be.
it is 7-on-7, but still there were some pretty good teams over there that didn't make the finals. I'd say Franklin County takes a lot out of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah.
And there were no fights.
Some pretty
So,
good teams that Franklin County beat the 19th ranked team in the country, Lipscomb Academy, in the semifinals of that, who just announced that they will take on Thompson of Alabama on ESPN and the Geico High School football. That's going to be a blast.
There aren't any Tagovailoa still hanging out at Thompson, though, are there?
No, but
It doesn't matter.
this has become a super dynasty. Now, obviously, remember a couple years ago, Auburn had them beat in the state championship game, and then that punt situation that ended up, and then the onside kick and all that craziness. But yeah, I mean, this is an ultra dynasty, and Thompson is very, very good. So it'll be exciting to watch those two teams go at it on ESPN. Also on ESPN family of networks, the SEC network. Next week, you can catch SEC Media Days. You can watch all of the press conferences and whatnots, and some of the folks that you will see on hand beginning at 10 o'clock Central Time on Monday with assume Greg Sankey.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch.
Is it 10 o'clock or 10:30?
The event is set to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern on Monday. So I don't know what that means. The event. Oh, okay. So I guess the event is, that's a good question.
I'll tell you, Greg
Look.
Sankey will be at the main lectern podium, however you want to define it, at 11:45 local time, Atlanta. So 10:45
here. Yeah,
correct. Greg Sankey will be there. That is Monday morning.
I wonder what they're going to do for the first 45 minutes that we're
talk amongst yourselves. Yeah.
Anyway,
he will be followed by LSU coach Brian Kelly and players Jack Beck.
I think that's Beck. Yeah.
Sophomore wide receiver. Junior linebacker Mike Jones.
Who?
Thank you.
Who?
Mike Jones Jr. and junior defensive end BJ Ojolari.
Looks good to me.
Okay. All right.
Say it with
Hey,
confidence.
we don't have to pronounce it. We just have to
Say it with confidence.
Yeah, there you go. Sell it. Let's see. In the afternoon session, you'll have Ole Miss with, of course, Lane Kiffin, Nick Brokers, Cedric Johnson, and Jonathan Mingo. Wonder if he's any relation to Barkevius Mingo, who played at LSU.
Good question.
It's a heck of a
Sure
name.
he is.
Yeah, gotta be. And then Missouri with Eli Drinkwitz, Barrett Bannister, Martez Manuel, and Isaiah McGuire.
There you go. That's Monday.
Mhm.
I did notice, and we'll get to everybody's, I guess, invitees, but I did notice that Mike Wright was the quarterback that's coming for Vanderbilt. So that's, I guess that's a pretty, pretty big statement there
for somebody.
So,
For somebody, yeah.
So there you go.
I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay.
Oh yeah. Hey, make your
earned
choice
that.
now.
He
did
earned that last year.
Yeah.
He absolutely did. I'm just saying, last year it was. We don't really have a quarterback yet.
Well, and I think that's been part of the problem at Vanderbilt
Sure.
over the years is that, you know, there was no clear cut. I mean, you've had a couple of outliers, but that's good to have somebody that obviously the coach seems as a leader. Hopefully the team will see that as well.
There you go.
Hopefully he'll play like it.
Tuesday's interesting. At 8:15 local time again, which is 7:15 here. John McDade, the SEC coordinator of football officials, will be at the lectern. So
You gonna get up for that one, Mo?
I don't know.
I bet it would be interesting though.
I'm sure it'll be
great,
interesting. Yeah,
I'm kind of disappointed it's that early in the morning, but
very, very. That I'm going to give you a firm maybe.
Great episode of Behind the Call is available.
Hello,
if you could get that.
Yeah,
that'd be the best reason to go.
Yeah, we got Alabama at Vanderbilt, starting at 9:05, followed by lunch, and then Mississippi State and South Carolina in the afternoon session.
Alabama bringing Heisman hopeful Will Anderson, junior linebacker. So there's that. And
Along
Bryce
with,
Young, of course.
along with Heisman hopeful
Bryce Young
at
junior quarterback.
Yeah.
And Jordan Battle, senior defensive back.
The other guy.
Vanderbilt, as we said, Mike Wright, Anthony Orji.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And senior library. And then graduate senior, Ben Bresnahan.
Well done.
Bresnahan. I like it. That's a
fun
good
one.
name.
Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt
should
always
be
has
fun.
some interesting names.
They usually do.
They
You're
come
right.
from all over.
The Bresnahans.
Yeah. On Wednesday, you get Arkansas and Georgia early. Arkansas, of course, with quarterback KJ Jefferson among its player
And
contingent and linebacker.
all name team.
No doubt.
Bumper pool.
That is fantastic.
Georgia with and I guess we know who their quarterback is too, huh? Since they're bringing Stetson Bennett.
Kind of hard not to bring the national championship winning quarterback with you, isn't it?
Well, when you consider the fact that we didn't even know if he was going to be at Georgia, it's not as hard as you might think.
Well, I mean, if he's on the team, it'd be hard to not bring him, I think.
Florida and Kentucky in the afternoon session. Anthony
Get your
Richardson.
top 10 back draft pick, according to everybody, will leave us.
There you go.
Okay.
The Thursday session winds things down with Auburn, with Tank Bigsby among the
all name team.
Yeah. Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman with Tennessee, and I got to be honest with you, I don't recognize any of these Texas A&M names.
No, I could not. Damani Richardson, defensive back, Layden Robinson, offensive lineman. So, and then Anais Smith. I got nothing there.
Yeah. Do want to mention, though, that as the Atlantic Coast Conference gets ready for its 2-day ACC football kickoff, July 20th and 21st. So what's that next? Is that next Wednesday and Thursday, I guess?
The 20th and 21st is Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Over in Charlotte, helping represent the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will be former Spring Hill High School standout Dante 2K Smith.
Oh, yeah. Dante Smith, the Spring Hill High School graduate.
Exciting for him. I'm glad to see him finally getting to get a little love in Atlanta.
I am too. He certainly earned his keep. No question there. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, the second half of Main Street Sports Today will commence. A lot of baseball in that second half, so stick around. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Second half action of Main Street Sports Today on this Friday. We'll be chatting with Colton Provey, talking a little MLB draft, as he has his eyes and ears all over the state of Tennessee as Director of Scouting for PBR. Also, look ahead to the weekend, a little British Open. Tiger, not quite cutting it. I didn't really know how else to put that. Unfortunately, not too unexpected. And then, of course, our daily Braves chatter. So there you go. Second half action on this Friday as we wind down, getting ready to head off to Atlanta next week for SEC Media Days. Going to be a lot of fun, but still a show to finish off today and plenty to get into. Once again, back to the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton, in a earthy tone gray today, and doubling up on the fabric, the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
It's ironic. We have yesterday was like 5 shades of blue. We have 3 shades of gray today.
Better you than 50. Me, though, man. Yeah. Oh, stop.
Did you say better than 50?
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
I thought it. He just said it. I wasn't going to say it.
This is a family show. Come on now.
A Hank Aaron Stadium shirt.
Always solid.
Yeah. And this slate-looking color here for the Titans. It's very similar to the
slate graphite. I think it's graphite. Yeah,
be graphite.
I like those metals.
It looks like a pencil. It looks like a pencil. Mm-hmm. Like a pencil lead. So graphite makes sense.
Yep, I like it.
Man,
I'm a little grudgeful you didn't grab me one, but
this came from a secondhand store.
I'm a little grudgeful you didn't grab me one.
Well, they didn't have but one. This is a large.
Oh,
I'm having to unzip the sides just to make it work.
Okay, so you're in that. It's just as well you didn't grab me.
Those side vents on pullovers like that are the way to go.
They're super clutch when you got a little gut. Yes. That's all I'm saying.
World of difference.
Oh man, we're talking about the Braves now because they get a win in Game 1 of the 4-game set in Washington as they again continue
without Eric Fetty.
Eric Fetty, not necessary.
Yeah.
Did score some runs. It's always good. Always good when you can get some runs off of the Nationals, which again, not playing particularly well this season. They've had a rough go of it. Braves should absolutely be winning this series. Tonight they get Ian Anderson against Patrick Corbin. We talked about that yesterday. But yeah, last night was kind of exactly what the Braves needed. They needed to get a win.
Yeah.
What you didn't need is the heart attack from returning closer Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, you did not need to bring the winning run to the plate in the 9th inning, and you definitely didn't need that winning run to beat Josh Bell, who had already homered earlier in the night. So, but Kenley tested his heart and everybody else's with a call strike 3 to win the ball game there. So 5-4 at Washington. Stellar night from MH2, among others.
It was. And really, MH2, Matt Olson, Dansby, all homered. Braves lead the National League, I believe, with 142 round trippers on the season so far.
Before the break.
Speaking of before the break, Kyle Wright gets the win.
He's got 10, right?
11. He is the first Atlanta Brave to win 11 games before the All-Star break since who and when?
Lou Burdett. I don't know who.
Lou Burdett. You went a little far. No.
Who?
2011 is the year.
Really?
Who was the pitcher?
Shelby Miller?
Jair Jurgens.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, I'd have never guessed that.
Could have given you
100. Yep. Never would have got Jair Jurgens. I would have. No.
Almost forgot he played for the Braves.
I didn't forget he played for him. I forgot he won 11 games before the All-Star break.
He won 12. He holds the record for most wins before the All-Star break.
He made the All-Star team, though, didn't he?
He did, in fact. Kyle Wright did not.
So,
and he is tied with.
How do you justify an 11-game winner not being on the All-Star team?
He's tied with Gonsolin and Justin Verlander for most victories in baseball and is not on the All-Star team.
But hey, who you gonna blame? Snit?
I mean,
he picked him.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to say. Look, there's no doubt that Austin Riley could certainly be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Dansby should certainly be on the team. But you've got Michael Harris II could make
there's an argument that could be made, but
you gotta think here. You got 5 Braves on the team. You could have had 8 on a
certainly 7. I don't think Michael Harris is a realistic All-Star possibility. I think for the way he's played, perhaps, but I think the lateness that he came up and a rookie.
Acuna was the leading vote getter.
Yeah. And goes into the home run derby with the second fewest home runs of any derby participant this year.
Right. But
Ronnie's not been great.
Well, he's still getting back.
He's still getting back. I get all of that. But bottom line, he's not been great.
And of course, 240,000 votes went to Fernando Tatis Jr., who hasn't played a game. So
yeah,
that tells you what you need to know about fan voting. But it is interesting that
I will say this, though. I do like that even for the flaws that come with it sometimes, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr., maybe it's a junior thing, but I think it's nice to have that fan involvement.
You have to,
especially in a game that is struggling
for fan
involvement.
Yep.
Yeah. So
can't get rid of it.
No,
it's just a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Wright could certainly be an all-star, probably should be an all-star, but
I do have to say, I don't know who all the pitchers are on the National League All-Star team. So as the argument that I bring about for all-state selections and that kind of thing, I don't know who you would take off to put Kyle Wright on.
Yeah, that's always the question, right? I mean, it could be.
I mean, you have a finite number of spots.
Right, and every team has to have.
And that's a problem.
Potentially a problem, sure. Sandy Alcantara, Corbin Burns.
Not taking them off.
Joe Musgrove, Max Fried, Tony Gonsolin, Luis Castillo, Clayton Kershaw.
Well, it's in L.A.
And Carlos Rodon. who is a late add. Relievers Josh Hader, Edwin Diaz, Ryan Hensley, David Bednar, and Joe Mantiply.
I think so.
Mantiply?
Mantiply.
I don't know. Multiply?
I think if another starter drops out, I think you could see Kyle Wright and 11 wins in LA.
You'd certainly hope so.
You'd like to think. Maybe I'm just being overly optimistic, but it makes sense.
What do you think about the legacy selections? One, I think Miguel Cabrera could have been a regular selection as well as he's played.
Yeah.
But Albert Pujols getting a shot in his final season is pretty cool.
I'm not a big Pujols fan. And it goes back to the way he left St. Louis and told everybody it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money when it was all about the money.
Except it was in fact.
Yeah, I mean, just own it, man.
Yeah,
it's
just tell us. You ain't got to lie.
It's okay for you to go get paid. You ain't got to lie, Craig.
You ain't got to lie, Craig.
Shoot.
But I still think it being his final season, it's pretty cool to see. I'm happy for Albert Pujols.
I'm happy to see him in the All-Star game. I'm not necessarily happy to see him in the home run derby. Yeah,
he likes to hit them.
We'll see. I hear the music. July 15th, 2011, the Braves became the third Major League Baseball franchise to post 10,000 wins as Tim Hudson and Martin Prado led the way in an 11-1 victory over Washington at Turner Field. Milestone was previously reached by the San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs. Hudson struck out 7 and allowed a run in 7 innings, while Prado went 2 for 5 with a homer and 2 runs scored in his return from the DL.
There you go.
Big day for the Braves back in 2011.
Back when Jair Jurgens was on 12 games again.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Colton Provey will talk a little Major League Baseball draft with us here on Main Street Sports today. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yap, Mo Patton here with you from Columbia. JP down in the Berg. Glad to have you guys with us all across Middle Tennessee as we are getting ready for Sunday's Major League Baseball draft, Mo.
Well, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, but it starts
Yeah,
Sunday. Yeah. Yeah.
We're real worried about Sunday.
We are worried about Sunday. I guess it's the first round on Sunday, and then it goes from there. MLB's Jonathan Mayo, friend of the show, put out, I would assume, his final mock draft. No. Because Jim Callis and I will have one more projection of the first 39 picks coming to you in the hours before the start of the first round on Sunday. But he put out a mock, excuse me, on Wednesday. He's got Drew Jones going number 1 to Baltimore.
Brooks Lee too.
No, Brooks Lee 6 to Miami. Jackson Holiday 2. Let's see. What else he got?
I just want to get a for sure on the time and order. I want to know when pick 35 is coming, Mo. Pick 35 is all I'm worried about.
Well, 35 and 20, I guess, because the Braves at 20 right now, they're mocking Gonzaga right-hander Gabriel Hughes.
A pitcher drafted by the Braves?
A college pitcher, yeah. Go figure.
Can't imagine.
That never happens, yeah.
No.
At 35, they've got Justin Campbell, a right-hander out of Oklahoma State, so another pitcher. But again, to talk more about the upcoming draft and some local names to kind of be on the lookout for, we've got Colton Provey, former Columbia Central standout, played at South Carolina, Walter State, and Tech, and is now joining us as the Tennessee Scouting Director of Prep Baseball Report. Colton, appreciate you taking some time with us.
PBR, not to be confused.
Yeah. Not
you gotta be real careful.
Yeah.
He doesn't ride bulls.
He doesn't ride bulls. And I'm not sure what his drinking preferences are, but anyway, Colton Provey joining us. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad to come on and talk some draft, and appreciate all you guys do as well.
Well, thank you. Locally, I think the most fascinating situation, it has been to me for the past year, obviously, is the whole Kumar Rocker situation. Goes number 10 to the Mets last year. They cut off negotiations with him. He goes to the Independent League this past spring, last few weeks, and has looked more than solid and seems to have put himself back in first round consideration yet again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously last year, I think it's pretty safe to say he's probably one of the most popular collegiate players to come through, at least in the last decade for sure. I mean, I think everyone knows who Kumar Rocker was, with his no-hitter against Duke in the Super Regionals in 19, and then obviously continuing to build on that legacy in 21. But he's a guy that we had number 1 on our board last year as a collective. Obviously the MLB draft's a little different where, the best player isn't always necessarily taken over number 1 overall, and slid the 10 with the Mets. And, like you said, negotiations kind of fizzled out. There were some questions about some health concerns on his physical return. But, sat the year out, didn't decide not to go back to Vanderbilt. Obviously has a huge body of work over from 19 to 2021, and pitched 20 innings with Tri-Valley Cats this summer, 32 strikeouts and a 1.35 ERA. So looked really sharp in his outings. I saw him in spring of 21, and he's 93, 98. I think everyone knows about his 84, 86 mile an hour gyro slider that just takes off and has big time projection. And then, he added another plus off speed offering with his cutter at 90-92, which I felt was his best secondary pitch when I saw him against Tennessee in that 21 season. So, I think a lot of eyes are going to be interested to see kind of where he lands. I think they kind of got him slotted around 10 right now, but give or take, how scouting departments feel about him, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands for sure on Sunday.
It's pretty wild, the fluctuation, because again, Jonathan Mayo has him 29 to Tampa Bay, but I saw someone else that had him a little earlier to San Diego, so he's all over the place. But it seems that wherever he lands, there's a really good chance that he pitches in the majors before the end of the year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think the our departments talked about him, and he's certainly considered the most big league ready arm, and is obviously a wild card as to where he lands in the draft and who's going to make that move on him. But I think all the scouting departments in MLB feel pretty good that the ceiling there is you're going to get a frontline big league starter who can be really good, and the floor is probably more of a Kenley Jansen type coming out of the bullpen, which given the similarities in the arsenal, I think there's pretty good comparisons there. If he can get into the bullpen in 2022 and then kind of take a step back, kind of like Garrett Crochet did, where he came in the pen and then followed up by being a starter coming into the next year.
I would love to see a rocker come out of the Braves bullpen. That would just be phenomenal. Just to see the name on the back of the jersey would be hilarious.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, okay. I see where
It'd be
you're
a real
going.
shame if he fell to 20, wouldn't it?
It would be awful if he fell to 20. Yeah. And what if they gave him 49 on top?
I know it. Give him 49. I promise you, I would buy every Kumar Rocker jersey there is.
There is just so much.
So much
There. Colton Provey, Tennessee scouting director of Prep Baseball Report, with us here on Main Street Sports today. Besides Kumar, who are some local names or some names that we're familiar with locally that you are intrigued by on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, Blake Tidwell, as everyone knows.
No, you're cutting in and out. Can you hear us? Gotcha. He said Blade Tidwell, and that was the thing, the one that we were absolutely sure about. Was
Absolutely. Again, he's being mocked right now by MLB at 38 to the Rockies, which is a little bit down from some previous mock drafts for him. But that's one of a number of Tennessee names that we expect to hear. Certainly over the course of the draft and possibly on Sunday. Right now, again, outfielder Jordan Beck is at 31 to the Rockies. Drew Gilbert a little higher, 22 to St. Louis. So those appear to be the top three UT names set to go in the MLB draft that starts on Sunday and continues through Monday and Tuesday.
I don't think any of those three are an issue as far as signability. But I definitely think that NIL at places like Tennessee, where the players do have a little more personality, they have a little more sellability at the college level, that could impact, some guys who may be going 3, 4, 5 rounds or later. Could certainly see them coming back to Tennessee instead of going to going into the professional ranks, because they can make more money potentially with those collectives at Tennessee.
And even more so, obviously, in the later rounds, as the draft has now been capped at 20 rounds.
I'm just curious where that line is,
where guys start leaning toward coming back. Now, the only thing is, when you come back, you lose all your leverage in your senior year. So it's a real shaky. It's a tough decision to make. Colton, I don't know if you heard, but Chris was saying with the advent of NIL, you may see more guys more strongly considering coming back if they don't get the right situation, read the right bucks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it definitely pays dividends, not speaking ironically there, but I mean, guys definitely have more opportunities coming out of high school to, go the college route and be compensated. And with, especially at least in our state, like with Tennessee and Vanderbilt, like in the rise of Tennessee, those are very big brands and big fan bases that are very passionate. Um, so I think that's definitely plays a part for a lot of guys because they know, hey, I can make, say I'm there 3 years, I can get my whole signing bonus worth in those 3 years, and then you kind of delay your low minor league rates for a couple more years, and you get a bonus on top of that. So you can kind of set yourself up pretty nicely, depending on if everything goes as planned and everyone stays healthy, of course.
That's the key, is pushing off your minor league. If you can stay out of the minors and feel more big league, and teams feel like you're more big league ready coming out of college, and you can get your room and board paid for, and you get to eat whatever whatever you want to in the food hall, that's a big deal. And if you can get some cash on top of that through NIL,
Sure.
college almost feels like it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, where would you rather be playing and traveling to? Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Starkville, or some of those low A minor league spots. So it's
Yeah, they don't all look like Rome, Georgia.
no.
And that's the other
Interesting.
thing, like with the college path is like there's so many more resources now. There's so many more coaches and off-field roles that really can impact the decisions. I mean, we just saw it this offseason. Tennessee's strength guy left for the Cubs in January, was the big league strength coach. And then, June rolls around and he's deciding to come back. So for a lot of these bigger programs and guys that are getting heavily considered for high school for the draft, you have an opportunity to go to a big university and also get big time resources and build your stock and build your body while also knocking out some school and playing on some of the biggest college facilities in the country for sure.
Colton Provey, Tennessee scouting director of Prep Baseball Report, with us here on Main Street Sports today.
Let's go back to Blade if we can, because
Absolutely,
he
yeah.
wanted to, and so I'm really curious what your thoughts are on Blade Tidwell.
Yeah. So Blade Tidwell is going to be, he's going to be one of those guys that last year we saw him and, our guys felt like he was a top 15, top 20 pick. Obviously, he had some shoulder stuff this spring, which delayed his season. So he got off to a little slower start, came out of the bullpen to get going, built up his arm over the year. And then obviously towards the postseason, he was kind of full go. I think he went 7 2/3 against Alabama State in the regional. Looked back full strength. So he's kind of gotten past that shoulder issue that he had coming out of the fall and winter and heading into the spring. But I mean, he went 3-2, 3.0 ERA, 39 innings, 51 strikeouts, 11 walks. I mean, he really raised his strikeout rate compared to last year and really matured and developed into, that prototypical Friday night guy that I think everyone expected to take for that next step for him to take. But I got to see him this spring at the Fall World Series in November. He was 95, 98. Two hard breaking balls where he can change shape, slider 84, 85, really good spin rates on that. And, obviously shows a change up here and there. And, I think there'll definitely be teams that'll be, questioning where his health is at. And, I'm sure that he's gone through all the physicals and stuff and he should be clear to go. So, I'd expect him to be late first round, early second, kind of later on Sunday. But a guy that, as you were mentioning with leverage, like he's going to be a sophomore. He's draft eligible because he's 21, so he's going to have some leverage there. Where if he doesn't get what he wants in this draft, like he can head back to Tennessee for another year, be part of probably another good club, and at the same time, just punt this draft and then scouts and personnel administrators are going to have to scratch and claw to try to get him next year because surely you think he's going to continue to rise as he gets stronger coming back from that injury.
Colton, Spencer Jones, the outfielder out of Vanderbilt, looks to be the first guy off the board for them. and I guess there's some debate whether he's a first or a second rounder, late first, early second. What do you see? What do you like out of him?
I mean, you're talking if you like big body guys, I mean, Spencer Jones is your guy. I mean, he's 6'7", 225 pounds, really athletic, hits and throws left. He had a great year. I mean, he's really kind of been stuck behind some guys as far as at bats and time. And I think most memorable moment he had from the 21 season was he was the pinch hitter when Stanford had the wild pitch, and Vanderbilt got to walk it off in the World Series and advance a game. But I mean, he started 24 games, had 95 at bats last year. This year, he had a full fall, full spring. And I mean, just posted some outrageous numbers. I mean, he hit 370 with a 450 on base and 643 slugging, 21 doubles, 12 jacks, and I think he also stole 14 bags out of 15 attempts. So going back to that athleticism for a really big guy coming out of California, um, some kind of considered him a late bloomer, but for our board, he's sitting at 67, and there's a lot of buzz that he could be a top 40 pick if someone really likes it and wants to go after him.
Came to Vanderbilt as a two-way guy, which kind of puts me in the mind, and this is big time pressure probably, but kind of reminds you a little bit of a Dave Winfield.
Yeah, he's a little taller than Dave, I'd say, though.
Yeah.
Well, he's taller than a lot of folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot to look forward to with the MLB draft coming up this weekend. And Colton Provey, Tennessee scouting director for Prep Baseball Report. Appreciate you helping shed a little light. Anybody else real quick that we need to know about that we've not mentioned yet?
Yeah, I think, there's a Summit product with Chris McIlvain. Obviously he's the Friday night starter this year for Vanderbilt, and had a pretty good start. He was in a swingman role last year, coming out of the bullpen, giving him some length, and I think he's gonna be a solid number day two guy. When you look at his numbers, he had 86 and a third innings and 100 strikeouts. The big question is long season control. He had 44 walks, which is going to raise some questions for those pro ball guys. But when you look at Vanderbilt Friday night starters, they tend to do pretty well in the draft, and I think the most comparable is Drake Fellows from a couple years back, who was in the Friday night role during that 17 group. And so I think he's a lock for day two. Maybe fifth or sixth. If someone likes him and his signability is in a good spot, I think someone might push a little harder for him. But he's 90-93 cutter, slider, good stuff. He's worked in multiple roles, which some scouts, if they think he can start, that's going to help his stock. If they want to put him in the bullpen, he's shown that he can do that. So just a versatile guy. And then I think for the Tennessee high school guys, like, it's going to be pretty thin this year. We don't have any Chase Burns. They're at school. We don't have Peyton Smith out of East Robertson this year. So I think the big name to watch will be Grayson Saunier out of Collierville in West Tennessee. Ole Miss commit, and he's just continued to rise up boards. I mean, he's currently 66 on ours. Long, tall, 6'4", 190 pounds, 87-91, 4-pitch mix, high spin breaking balls, good feel for the changeup. And, obviously I think there's, like you're saying, NIL, he gets an opportunity to go play for the reigning national champions. And, I think that's going to waver a lot in his decision. So if he goes early, then it's going to be something certainly to watch. But if it, gets late into day two or day three, like, obviously there's going to be a courtesy pick there. But the only other sleeper I got is probably AJ Russell out of Franklin High School, import from Oregon. He moved in after COVID, and a big 6'5", right-hander. He's like probably 190 pounds, soaking wet, up to 91, and he's going to be heading to Tennessee if it doesn't happen. But I got to see him this spring. He's been downright dominant in Williamson County since he moved in. And when I was there was probably 10 guys checking in on him and seeing how he looked. So maybe just a name to stash. But besides that, I think it's going to be a lot of Tennessee and definitely some Vanderbilt guys flying off the board throughout the first couple days.
There you have it, Colton Provey out of Spring Hill now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's moved on up and north. I mean, just a little bit up 31 into Spring Hill. But Colton, man, thank you so much for taking time. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our final thoughts of the week. What are we looking forward to? I got a great quote here from Kyle Petty about Ross Chastain because Sunday should be fun. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this.
Yeah, I texted you.
I saw the tweet. And I was like, oh, that's Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Couple of quick things before we get gone. As we're talking about college baseball, Major League Baseball, et cetera, the NCAA Baseball Rules Committee has recommended modifications to the 20-second action clock to put it in effect with runners on base, to which GAC Commissioner Will Pruitt says, I'd humbly submit that the most egregious pace of play issues could be solved by SEC Network, ESPNU, ACC Network, and Big Ten Network taking one fewer 30-second spot each half inning rather than making the rest of us purchase 20-second pitch clocks.
Wow.
So go get them, Will.
I'm here for this.
You know,
I salute you, Will. Good
show me the
job.
lie. He ain't wrong.
He ain't wrong.
So he's like, this is a Power 5 issue. It's not an issue for us. Stop making rules for them that we have to follow. Anyway, looking ahead to the weekend, fellas, what are y'all looking forward to the most?
Well, let me just, before we.
Okay, go ahead.
One person who has a more wide open weekend than he was anticipating is Tiger Woods, who did not make the cut at the British Open this weekend, shot a 3 over 75 after shooting a 6 over in the opening round on Thursday. So tough Thursday and Friday for Tiger, who, like I said, now has an open weekend, but not an open.
That's right.
Weekend.
Not an open weekend.
No.
That's, honestly, it's tough to watch that kind of stuff, to watch him struggle with, but the fact that he's able to do what he's able to do after the crash and everything else that's happened, to him with his back and everything is just phenomenal. The dude shot a 75 at St. Andrews on a busted up body.
Yeah.
Right.
My gosh.
Well, the game needs him obviously out there just for his presence, but also
he moves the needle for sure.
Yeah, he does. And his comments too, I'm sure you guys are aware and may have heard his comments leading up to the Open this week about the Live Tour.
Yeah.
And it's first chance really for the press pool to hear from Tiger about this, and I kind of agree with him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, those players basically took the opposite of the Albert Pujols approach. Yeah, it's about the money.
Just say that.
And they did. So, hey, whatever.
Yeah. Tiger's thing, for those that, maybe listening and not know exactly what he said, basically the gist of it was, Tiger said to those guys, what motivation do you have now to be really competitive? If you've got guaranteed money, only 54 holes, what reason do you have? And he's not wrong. I mean, and that is an option if it's about the money. And I guess some of them may have said that, and that's part of it. And maybe you don't want to compete at that level. Maybe you don't love to play golf as much as others do, and you're just good at it, and it's a way to make money. And if that's your way to make money, maybe that's an easier route.
Go make it.
Yeah. I don't begrudge the guys that are playing on the Live Tour if you want to go make money to play golf. So, anyway.
Final 30 seconds here. Ross Chastain has a huge target on his back. We've talked about that this week. Kyle Petty, if a cookie is gone from the cookie jar, everyone's going to say Ross got it. I don't think that's fair. There you go. Everybody's blaming Ross for everything.
That doesn't mean Ross didn't get it, though.
You never know.
True.
Yeah.
We'll be back Monday live from Atlanta. Come back with us 2:00 Central Time here on Main Street Sports Today. Mo?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend